Welcome to a Greenville County Library System virtual event. My name is Rachel, and I'm the Adult Outreach and Event Coordinator for the library. I'm so glad that you could join us for this event, Cooking Matters Snacking, and that one's presented by Clemson Snap Ed, of course. This is the last in our series, so we're glad that you could join us. If you're interested in our other virtual events, and activities and classes, check out our website, greenvillelibrary.org, particularly adult virtual events, and that's just under our classes and events button. You can also learn more about this topic by clicking on health and wellness, and that's under our learning and research heading. If you're interested in checking out cooking and wellness materials, make sure that your library card is up to date and visit us at any of our locations. We always look forward to serving you. So please join me tonight for Cooking Matters Snacking. Our presenters today are Diana and Myra. Welcome.
Hi.
Everyone, thanks for joining us today. We're glad to have you guys here. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Like she said, we're going to be talking about snacking today. I don't know about you guys, but snacking is something that I do all the time, especially since I've been at home more often. And it is something that I have to almost be more aware of than I am my meals that I eat. I can plan my meals. My meals are usually healthy. But for some reason, it's more difficult for me and sometimes my family to choose healthier snacks. So, and we're talking about that for your whole family, your kids as well. So getting some ideas for homemade snacks and then saving time and money, preparing snacks on your own, and then how to involve the kids in the snack preparation. So, okay. The first thing that I want to do, I have a recipe video at the end that is a not snack, but that'll be a recipe that you guys can hopefully make. I try to do ones that are a little more substantial than snacks. I do want to show you just a quick video on a fruit and yogurt parfait. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully you can hear it. So one reason I wanted to share just a short video of at least one snack. We're going to be talking about a lot of different types of healthy snacks today, but to show you how quick that a lot of the things are already pre-cut up and all of those things. But yogurt parfait is something that's really quick to make, and it's very cost effective if you buy the tub of yogurt, and if you have one or two different types of fruits on hand, granola, or you can just use different types of nuts. And also a tub of yogurt is probably about the same price as a pre-prepared yogurt parfait that you buy from the store. So it's a lot more cost effective to make these things on your own, and you can put your favorite things in them instead of kind of settling for whatever the grocery store has. And generally, if you can buy the low fat and low sugar options for your yogurt, then you'll be making a lot healthier choices than the pre-prepared parfaits because they are generally high in sugar. So just wanted to show you all one video to start out with, and then Day, I'll let you.
Sorry. Okay, awesome. So how often do your kids snack on a typical day? Or if you don't have small ones in the house, we'll take how much do you snack in a typical day too. Amy said once after school. And at least twice for me, sometimes 3 times.
I think me too. Yep.
Yeah.
Same.
I'm kind of the opposite. I'm a big snacker. So I snack more than I eat like full meals, but I try to snack on like healthy stuff. So I'm not like snacking on a box of Oreos like I really would like to. But yes. And Danielle said usually at least once. So those
Right.
are good responses.
Yeah. So kids, if you have kids, they're typically going to need more snacks throughout the day. They have smaller bodies, smaller stomachs. They're going to burn off their calories quicker. So they may be snacking a little bit more than you, maybe more than you do during the day. Sometimes I'm thinking our scenarios, most of them don't snack more than us. But when we keep in mind our kids, just know that they typically are going to snack a good bit during the day. And so with that being said, their snacks are making up a large part of the nutrition that they're getting in during the day. So watching what we're giving them and what we're giving them during our meals is super important. But since most of us answered for ourselves, it's also important that we're snacking healthy, because if I'm snacking 3 times a day and eating 3 meals a day, it's essentially just as important what I'm eating as a snack. Hold on one second.
So in that same note, what do you guys think makes a healthy snack? We got fruits and nuts. It's definitely a healthy snack. It's a very nutritionally dense snack. We got fruit and cheese. That's also great too.
So the fruits and the nuts have something in common, which is that they have a high fiber content. So they keep you fuller for longer. So I love both of those answers. And cheese is an excellent snack as well. Whole grain crackers with a topping. Yeah, for sure. For
I feel like
sure.
we all just named a deconstructed charcuterie board, which makes me want a cheese board right now.
Yes, that's exactly what that
But these
was.
are great options. What I like about what everybody named too is that they're easy to take snacks. Like this is not like a snack that you have to be at home to eat. You can literally throw these things into a bag and keep on moving and go on about your day. And the things that you guys named are going to keep you pretty full too. The great thing about nuts is they have a high fat content. So that high fat content is going to keep you satisfied for a little bit longer in terms of a snack, as opposed to like a candy bar or a sugary drink or something of that nature. But those are great. Those are great snack options, and they're definitely healthy snack options.
Yeah, that's like an adult Lunchable, and I love that. Those are really, really good options. So the answer was what that makes the healthy snack healthy is all the things that you just mentioned, but something that's going to keep you fuller for longer, so that you're not enticed to continue eating. So something that's going to keep you full for longer, and then something that has naturally low sugar and sodium, so that you can kind of reserve your or natural sugar, I guess, because fruits are obviously a wonderful source of getting of wonderful source of nutrients, and it has sugar, which is fine. So, and then sometimes we just don't want to eat these things necessarily alone, and we want to be getting in more food groups when we do snack, so that it is more substantial for us. So just like thinking of how we could make these better snacks, I suppose, pairing it with protein or dairy or grain.
So Amy said peanut butter with the apple. That's great.
Peanut butter with literally everything, because peanut butter is life.
Nutella with the banana.
Yeah,
Gotta love
that's
Nutella.
not bad. That's an okay way to get your sweet fix without having, something that's, chocolate cake. You're having, a banana with Nutella is a much better alternative to a lot of the sweets that we could be choosing. So.
Another thing that I like to do with specifically with apples, but I like to eat apples with dates because they're both high in lots of fiber. But also like, especially if my apples aren't the sweetest thing in the world, I'll just eat it with a date because dates are like ridiculously sweet. We also got, I'll make a dip out of Greek yogurt for carrots and celery. That sounds delicious.
What do you use in your dip? Is it like honey and Greek yogurt? That's what I use. I usually do honey, Greek yogurt, and peanut butter. But I'd be interested to know what other people use in their little dips.
I make
cool.
ranch, lots of dill and garlic.
Awesome. I've never tried a savory one with Greek yogurt, but I've made things out of Greek yogurt. I go for sweet. You could also put your banana in a smoothie, so you could have dairy that way. You could put either your low-fat milk or a type of yogurt and maybe one more fruit in there to add to a smoothie of some sort. Those are all really good options. And then we make wraps a lot in our house. So you could literally do carrots and apples, and celery surprisingly go really well together. So you could shred some carrots and cut up some celery and apples and put them in a whole wheat wrap. And I don't know, that might be my lunch, but there's a lot of different ways that you can pair these with different proteins, dairies, or grains.
So this is a cool little make your own trail mix. I actually love this. So whenever we got the books for the Cooking Matters course and they had to make your own trail mix in them, I was just like, I'm going to live my best life with this thing because it's like super simple, super easy, and you don't have to think about it. So it's just dried fruit, nuts, a crunchy grain, and then whatever else you might want to throw in there. But it's a nice way because I feel like a lot of trail mix that you can buy in a store, like they're perfect except for like that one ingredient you don't want. And so you can just make your customized perfect for you trail mix using a simple chart like this, or if you know like exactly what you want in a trail mix, you can just kind of freehand it at the store. But this is a super super helpful chart.
Absolutely. And just like many things that we're going to talk about, and just like many things that we have talked about in past weeks, it is more cost effective by the unit price to make your own trail mix. If you go and buy almonds, of course, they're going to be pretty expensive, but when you add those to other ingredients and it's going to make a larger batch for a smaller price than when you buy just the small bag of trail mix. And you can, like Day was saying, create your own, and you could make several different kinds with just a few ingredients. So,
and I will say also, if you're looking to like cut cost even more, what I like to do is if I know I want trail mix, but I'm not going to want to eat trail mix for the entire week, I'll go somewhere that offers the ingredients I want in bulk, so I can just get like $1's worth of like almonds and $1's worth of whatever kind of grain that I want to go and put into there. So I'm not buying a whole container of almonds when I know I won't use them again probably for a couple of months. But bulk shopping is great when it comes to making your own trail mix.
And finding filler whole grains that are cheaper. So like you could literally use Cheerios as your things to put in there, which is a whole grain. You can use peanuts, which are a cheaper type of nut. So you can make those options to kind of make it last a little bit longer. And like raisins are going to be cheaper than dried apricots or something. So All right.
So when it comes to buying foods, what do you guys look for on the food packagings when you're buying, packages when you're buying snacks? Amy says she doesn't usually look completely fine. Um, I know that like if I'm in the store shopping for like specifically a snack, if I know I'm hungry, I just kind of will grab the quickest, most easy snack, and that leads to me not always looking at the packaging. And we also said I try to get mostly organic produce and packaged goods. Nice. I think for me also one of the things that I look for when buying snacks is just the sugar content, because I know it's usually very easy to like eat all of the snack that you buy, even though it's supposed to be a small snack. But I at least try and look out for how much of the sugar is in there, just so I'm not eating like my daily value worth of sugar in one snack. Or if it is that case, I'll just eat a little bit of it. But yes. And I check sodium sometimes too. That's a good
Very
one
cool.
too.
Those are awesome.
Mhm.
That's a lot of what we talked about last week with the Cooking Matters in the store, is that nutrition label and kind of like some of those highlight things like Dave was saying, the sugar, and then Rachel said the sodium, and looking at how many calories each of these things that we have is giving us. So it's good to just know those things. And sometimes just being more aware makes us more likely to make healthy choices. Even if we're not looking to have that much less sugar or sodium in our diet, sometimes just the knowledge of like, oh, I had no idea that brand thing had that much sugar in it. Maybe I'll only get it every other time I go.
So just thinking about snacks, I know you guys named a bunch of healthy snack options like fruits, nuts, cheeses, quick to go on the quick to take with you things. But when you don't get a chance to buy those healthier options, what makes it harder to get or eat healthier snacks? Craving. Craving sweets instead of healthy food. Definitely, I get that.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important to mention too, like there are plenty of sweet, healthy foods also. And I think it like sometimes it's just like a matter of us like going the extra step to look for those things. And I know like it's much easier said than done because I will grab the thing that is just sweet and I won't even think, is it sweet and also healthy? So I get that. And then we also got convenience. That's a big one. I think that's kind of a lot of people's roadblock, because if it's so much easier to get something that might not be the healthiest, but it's just like much quicker, you're on the go, you have a bunch of other things you need to tend to in your day, it's much easier to just grab whatever is the most convenient, whatever is the most like what you want at that moment. So those are definitely all very like valid reasons.
My favorite, we're like generally the early bird special eating dinner at our house. I don't really know why. We like it's like 5:30 usually when we eat dinner, and so that means if I'm up at 8:30, I'm getting a little hungry again, and so I usually that's the time that I want something sweet. I love peanut butter. That's kind of like my go-to snack. So I have whole wheat crackers that I will like just spread a little bit of peanut butter on like 3 of them. And I give myself 2 semi-sweet little chocolate things on each of them. And they're like my cookies, which are not bad. I don't really eat too many other sweet things during the day. So those are like my little sweet treat, I suppose, which is a healthy snack. And but recently, the last time that we went to the grocery store, my husband decided to take it upon himself to get a gallon of ice cream. We do not ever have ice cream in the house. I do not remember the last time we've ever purchased ice cream in our home. And now we have a gallon of it in our refrigerator. And so I have eaten it for the past 2 nights, and I do not ever eat, but it's the convenience of it. So it's it's making these decisions while you're at the store to try to, let me plan for the healthy things that I want to eat, and not have the convenient thing be the unhealthy choice, is what I'm saying. So I was trying to kind of go off of the convenience thing, because now I've eaten something that I never eat, but it's right there, and it's like, oh no, now we have a gallon of it because that's how much you decided to get. But yeah, so cravings are real. So try to plan for having, healthy options that are convenient and that are sweet, if that's what you like. And I'll take my own advice as soon as this ice cream is gone out of my house. I don't know if this one's as relevant, but.
So what does it mean to be a role model for your kids around healthy snacking? Which it already sounds like you all are great role models around healthy snacking.
I think we had kind of talked about this if anyone was at one of our very early on lessons when we were talking about modeling for our kids what we eat. So this is the same thing in terms of like making sure that you're making healthy choices that you're suggesting to them. So if you're going to suggest that they eat the banana, but you're going to eat the cupcake, they're going to watch what you're doing, not what you're saying. So, and then I love Rachel just said that foods are not off limits, but making good choices by setting examples. Absolutely. There's no such thing as a bad food. There's just foods that you shouldn't eat every day. So, like I should not eat ice cream again for the third night in a row tonight. So we'll see. But you should reserve some of the foods for sometimes foods, or and just make better choices when you can.
Absolutely.
And I guess the only other thing that would be different about snacking than our meals is the frequency of it. So if you constantly have a bag of chips out by your work area, just like there throughout the day, and that you're snacking on them, that's probably going to give your kiddos the impression that having open snacking, throughout the day is an appropriate way to go about it. So just setting those, eat when you're hungry, not just because you're bored, and all of those good things is a good way to role model that. And these are just some examples of some healthy snacks that are maybe not just a piece of fruit or just a cracker, that have a little bit more substance to them. I didn't want to do like a million videos of small snacks. I think y'all can kind of see some ideas, and then that can get the idea or the creativity flowing for new different snack ideas. But just wanted you to be able to see that there are other options besides just eating like a whole piece of fruit or a piece of whole grain bread. It can be more fun than that. And do y'all have any like go-to healthy snacks that are like prepared? So I know we already asked and you said like fruits and cheese and stuff like that, but do y'all have like any prepare ahead of time snacks that y'all do?
Red pepper strips with Laughing Cow. That sounds pretty yummy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Rachel said I make my own protein bars and keep them in the freezer. It's very smart.
That's awesome. I've never tried to make protein bars, but I make protein balls. I don't know. They're just like the little either peanut butter, or we use almond butter, and then oats, some type of dried fruit, usually raisins or cranberries. and some coconut, dried coconut. We make those every few weeks. Very cool. If you're interested, you can take a picture of the slide just to have a few like ideas in your back pocket of different ways that you can enjoy these snacks. And then I'll let you go, Dave.
So these are just some tips to hack your snacks. So of course, we want to make our own snacks in place of packaged snacks. That'll definitely help kids get healthier foods, and they can be fun to do together. And actually, I like this one because a lot of the times if you find like a snack that you love in the store, you can go home and make it. It's probably cheaper, but it probably tastes a little bit better. And you can customize it as much as you want to. So like make it your own thing. And then we want to save money by buying foods in whole forms, larger packages, containers, and generic brands. So that kind of goes back to if you decide you want to make something like trail mix, you can buy all those ingredients in bulk so you don't have to worry about spending way more money on them than you would prefer to. And then we want to model healthy snacking. Of course, that's great for kids because they see that no foods are off limits. Of course, we want to do everything in moderation. And then when you do buy packaged food, make sure you're reading the food labels to help keep your choices healthier and smarter. So we don't want to get snacks that are full of sugar and full of sodium and have like no fiber or protein in them, because essentially then we're just eating foods that are just going to fuel us for a couple of maybe 30 minutes at the most, but then we're going to be hungry again for another snack. And so we want to make sure we're finding those nutrient dense foods that are going to keep us fuller longer, give us more energy, and just make us overall happier.
Absolutely. Okay. While I'm getting this together, does anybody have any questions for Day or I about snacking before I do our video? Sorry, it's taking me a moment to find this. Okay. Today's recipe is orange glazed butternut squash and Brussels sprouts. I hope you guys enjoy it. And Day, if you'll give me a thumbs up if you can hear it whenever it comes on, and then you can go off. Hello, this is Myra Brookins from Clemson Snap Ed, and today we are making orange glazed butternut squash and Brussels sprouts. This is a perfect side dish to any of your holiday meals, or just a side dish for fall or winter evening. It's very filling, full of a lot of vitamins and nutrients, and overall just an awesome meal. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First thing that I'm going to do is cut our butternut squash. This is tons of different types of squash. They're all in season. In the fall, winter time, this is a perfect time to buy squash, but butternut squash is definitely a seasonal favorite of mine. It's very versatile, and you can just do so many things with it. And it's very dense, very filling. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut it in half. It is a very, like I said, dense, and it is quite large. So I'm going to, instead of trying to cut it this way, I'm going to make a incision down the middle, and then kind of cut through this way, and then turn it, and I'll do the same thing. Butternut squash can be cooked in a few different ways. You can microwave it, just almost like you do a potato or something. You would can do that for probably about 10 minutes, I believe. We'll get it nice and soft. You can cut it in half, just like I'm doing right now, and put it straight in the oven with the insides facing up. Or you can do what we're actually going to do today, and which is going to be peel and then dice this into pieces. So like I said, you can gut this, and then you can just put this straight in the oven just like this. It's perfect for like soups or baby food if you want to do something like that. anything where you need the butternut squash to be a like a mushy a mushy consistency is the word I'm looking for. So we're just gonna, just like you would like a pumpkin or something. I have this for my using the butter, but so I got a little bit of butter on there. But I'm just literally taking a spoon and going along the edges of this pit, and I'm going to kind of take these guts out. I'm just gonna place them in this bowl over here. These squash, butternut squash seeds, just like pumpkin seeds, you can take them, separate them from the pulp, and you can roast them. You can put a little bit of salt on them. You could do a little bit of cinnamon on them. So many things, and they make for a quick snack or in addition to some trail mix or something like that. So yeah, you just have to roast them on like 400 or 425 for a little while until they're nice and toasted. All right, so this is about what it should look like. Cool. Not going to worry about this other half right now. We're not going to do both sides. We are just going to focus on this one side today. So because I am wanting this to be not just for a soup or a very mushy consistency, couldn't find that word today, I'm going to dice it. And so to dice it, I'm going to first need to peel it. So again, if you're just putting it in the oven, you can put it in with the outside on because you're just going to be scooping it out after, right? Okay. So it takes a little bit of force. You'll see that once you start peeling this outer like light tan brown layer on, there will be a very pale orange layer. Once I get it to good enough, I'll probably go over it one more time. All right, there's a fine line between wanting to get the whole outer layer off and then wanting to not waste any of your butternut squash. So I want to show you kind of the hue or the color of orange it should be when you know that the outside layer is off enough. So it is very similar to this inside layer. You don't want it to be quite as light as these pieces were. Now we should be good. So just like you would dice anything else, we're going to go ahead and do that for this one as well. We want about a medium dice. We always, when we're roasting things, want the things that you're roasting to be about the same size, and we're doing halves of the Brussels sprouts. So we want those to be around the same size just so that they cook around the same amount of time. So all right, so we have this butternut squash, and I'm just going to go ahead and transfer it to the pan for now. And the next thing that we're going to do is go ahead and work with our Brussels sprouts. So I've already rinsed all of these off. Hopefully I mentioned that with the butternut squash. Rinse all of your produce off before ever doing anything with them. So after I have my Brussels sprouts rinsed off, we're going to go ahead and just remove just the outer layer. Again, it's kind of like the butternut squash. I don't want to remove too much and be wasting any of my Brussels sprout, but I definitely want that outer layer that's been catching all the dirt to come off. So once we have that, we're going to remove the bottom, the tough part of the stem. You'll be able to feel, you'll be able to see that that part is a little bit lighter than the others. It'll be white, but then also it's a lot tougher. So we don't want to necessarily eat that part. And then we're going to just cut it straight in half for this one. In a lot of different recipes, if you want to quarter them, you can do that as well. So cutting it in half one more time, that's fine. For this recipe, we're just going to have them in half. All right, we're almost ready to get them in the oven. We're just going to drizzle some olive oil over our vegetables. And then we're going to toss those together. I'm going to do about 2 tablespoons, maybe closer to 1.5. And then I'm gonna just do a little bit of salt. I'm not even gonna do a measurement for it because I'm not doing very much at all. Okay, and then these can actually be all mixed together. And I know you're probably thinking right now, that's not much flavor. Where's the seasoning at? It's gonna be very bland. That part is coming, I promise. So this is just for us baking it. We're gonna make sure that this has just a good enough coat of olive oil on it. I did go ahead and spray my foil as well before this, so they're not sticking. And that looks pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and get these in the oven at 400 degrees. Okay. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is make our glaze for this. So one of the first things that we're going to do is take our orange and we're going to cut it in half. And before I squeeze it, I'm actually going to this uses orange zest in the recipe. So there's a few ways that I can do that. I can use my peeler from earlier and kind of peel some pieces of this like that. Use a grater and kind of just get a little bit of small pieces right here. Whatever you have available, whatever's easiest for you, they both work. The only thing I will say, so this is usually closer to the size that I want it with the grater. If I'm doing it with the peeler, I'm going to take my big slices and just cut them up just a little bit because they're going to be in the actual, this is going to be in the recipe. So once you have that out, I take my pieces, if I'm just using a peeler and not my grater, I'll take pieces like this and just chop them up into smaller pieces. They don't have to be super small, but just a little bit more fine. Nobody wants a huge chunk of orange, lemon, lime zest, any of those zest in your recipes. All at one time anyway, but it does add a huge amount of flavor. For those of you, if anybody has never used zest before in a recipe, so you're taking the outer layer, the skin of the fruit that you're using, and it gives such a huge aroma. I can smell it. I smelled it way more distinctively when I was doing this than when I even cut the orange in half, which is nuts to me. So it gives it a huge, bold flavor. Smell and flavor. So that's one of the reasons that we're going to use that too. And it's kind of neat to be able to use parts of your fruit that you're usually wasting. So we have, part of that rind that's being used. So the next thing that we're going to do is actually just juice the orange. Again, I think this calls for a few tablespoons of it, but I'm probably going to use, we'll measure it, but I might actually just use whatever I can get from this piece. If you wanted to go ahead and use your whole orange to squeeze, and then you can just drink some orange juice while you're making your recipe. Or you could peel it and give some to your kids because they're always wanting to snack. So we're going to actually put that in. We'll do that in here. Okay, so I'm going to measure out about, we'll use another one. And that's just about all of it. And then I have melted butter, about a tablespoon of melted butter right here that we're going to add. Then we are going to add about a teaspoon of honey. If you want to, you could probably melt it with your butter beforehand. Okay, that's about a teaspoon. And then we're going to do about a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. I'm also making about half of what the recipe calls for. I only used half of the butternut squash and half of a pound of Brussels sprouts. And just 1 teaspoon of that. Then we're going to add a little bit of black pepper. Not much, not even really a need to measure it. And then we're going to whisk this together. And by whisk, I mean use your measuring teaspoon because it's already dirty and you don't really need a whisk. And then the only other thing I got to add is my orange zest. I made a little bit more than I even really needed to, but it's perfect. Now we have our orange glaze ready. So it has our orange juice, our orange zest, it has apple cider vinegar, it has pepper, it has our honey, and that's about it. So we mixed that together. Whenever our Brussels sprouts and our butternut squash come out, they only take about 25 minutes total. We're gonna mix this in. It'll get good and integrated with what we have, our veggies there, and then we're gonna put some dried cranberries and pecans in there with it. It's gonna give it some more flavor and texture, and yeah, so that's all we got to do. So we're going to wait for those to come out. See you in a minute. All right, we got our beautiful butternut squash and Brussels sprouts out of the oven. They were in there for about 25 minutes at 400 degrees. And now, instead of putting my sauce on my veggies, I'm just going to put my veggies in my sauce. So I already put it in a large bowl. This is a super hearty side for your dinner or your holiday meals. With so many things changing because of the pandemic, you know, hopefully you're not gathering with too many family members. And I know for us, that means that our meal is going to look quite a bit different because in the past, we know that, you know, kind of the same people brought the same things every year for at least my family anyway. And this year, because we're going to be doing a, you know, smaller gathering, if any gathering, we're going to be making our own sides and we're going to want to do less things because we're not going to have 10 people to bring a side. So I'm going to be looking for more hearty dishes, things that are going to be more filling to be making. So this is definitely one of those things that we'll be making for our holiday gathering. So now we have this in here and we are going to just kind of, like I said, just gently coat this. We don't want to work it too hard because the leaves of the Brussels sprouts might fall off. And then we're going to add our pecans and some cranberries. There's a million ways you can do this. You don't have to do the orange glaze. Brussels sprouts and butternut squash are fantastic with multiple types of seasoning on them. So you can do so many things with this, but I'd love if y'all tried it this way first. This is what it looks like. It's so fantastic. I hope that it looks as pretty as it on camera as it does in real life, because this is definitely a really pretty dish for the holidays as well. It has the cranberries that are kind of that deeper reddish purple, and then we have orange and green. It's a really beautiful dish, which all those colors means that we're getting more nutrients and vitamins and very healthy side dish. A little bit of sweetness to it with the cranberries and some honey. Hope you guys enjoy it and hope you guys get a chance to make it. Have a good one. Bye. All right. Do you have any Brussels sprout like haters out there? Like they can't do it? I know a few people that cannot stand them, but the majority of people I know really love them. So hopefully this is something y'all would like.
So if you guys have, it must be roasted. I don't think I've had roasted Brussels sprouts and it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while since I've had them, but I think this is going to inspire me to go roast some Brussels sprouts.
Yeah. I can't eat them, I can't eat them boiled. Steamed.
I've had them steamed.
Yeah. You like them like that?
I like them steamed, but I also like, I just put almost everything in a cast iron skillet, and I'm just like, I like stuff in a cast iron skillet. So.
Oh, but that gives you the same like browning effect, that roasting it. Yes. As long as it's, yeah, I'm good with that too, because I'll do that as well. And you could actually probably make this whole recipe like that as well if you prefer it that way. But I can't do like where it's not charred at all. Like with, yeah, like Rachel and Brandon agree. No, thank you. Boiled. But if you guys enjoy it that way, eat your vegetables however you want. But
We just wanted to check to see if you guys had any questions for us. This is our last class with you guys, which is really sad. We're gonna miss you guys. But if you guys have any questions you guys might have for us or any like feedback, we always are welcoming feedback too.
yeah, we appreciate the same. I know it's been like the same people tuning in, so we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Amy.
Y'all have any feedback? Oh yes, we'll do this in person and cook together.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
That. That's what I don't even know if you know, but that's what we normally, so we'll like make a recipe, like something that I showed you guys, and me and Day would be there, and then you would get like a sample of it and you would help us cook it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that what we're doing right now is not awesome, because it is, but that'll be fun to be back in person. Samples. It's not samples before you have to like trust us that this meat, like that this thing is good. Like,
That's true.
Just trust us. It's great. Make a whole thing of it. Spend your money on these groceries. But yeah. We also appreciate, because I know it's been like the same crew as what I was saying before I got on my tangent, but it's been the same crew like every week, and we really appreciate you guys specifically. Yeah. For joining in. Yeah. And all of our YouTube viewers too.
Yeah.
I think that's all we have, if that's all you guys have for us. If you do have any feedback that you just do not want to provide right now, and we are very open to it. We want to make this is, this year has looked weird for all of us, and so we're trying to make this adaptable and as good as it can be for y'all. So if you have any feedback that you'd like to email Rachel and then her pass on to us, we would be very receptive and open and thankful for that. So if you have anything, let us know.
Okay, thank y'all so much. This has been a great series. We've all, I think, learned a lot and had a really good time. Thank you to the patrons as well. Thank you for joining us, viewers, for this last of the Cooking Matters series, snacks. Check out our adult virtual events calendar for more live events, and our classes and activities page for on-demand classes. We don't just do live, we also have on-demand. And as always, of course, use your library card to access our free resources, databases, downloadable streaming, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for library updates. And we hope that you'll also sign up for our e-newsletter so that you can learn about other health and wellness activities we might be doing in the future. So thank you for your time, and we look forward to you coming back and joining us soon. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.